and a biscuit. So what we'd like to do now is very rapidly go around each table and just ask you for one of your thoughts and ideas, so we can begin to share what the collective mind is saying. Randomly picking the table over here at the back, are you able to just give us one of your ideas, please? Oh, what, you need this. You need this. Who's going to speak?
I think generally on this table we felt like it wasn't actually tactile enough. It was all devices doing stuff for people and not enough interaction with humans.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll rotate around this way. May I give that to you?
Hello everyone. Yes, in this table we think about different things that are missing. The first one is that it seems that that Mary is alone, so it's like missing the interaction with different people, and we call it people and social interaction. Also the issue of consultation, who's going to have the permission to access the information, Mary's information, when she's going to be able to consent about that. There is something about the freedom of choice. Maybe she's going to feel invigilated all the time.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on.
Technical support.
Yeah, we will get back to you. Who would like to speak on this table?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's most of the options gone. The only thing you didn't mention was we talked about the different stages of control. So what stage of Mary's journey was this at? Was there a sense that this was something that could happen partly, fully? She could choose at what level she's interacting with it, rather than it being total control or not.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi there. We were discussing quite a lot the cost around this total kind of integrated world of Mary, both from kind of a software and a hardware point of view, and also going back to the properties she's actually in and connectivity around her in terms of 4G, Wi-Fi, and just everything around her. Yeah.
Good, thank you. Excellent. Who's going to speak to us on this table? Thank you.
I think it's going back to what we originally said about what Mary wanted, originally putting that aside because that's a bit too technical, and recording that and giving her the independence that she needs, under the theme, I did it my way, and recording that and making sure that whatever they want, do we actually have that system in place or those interventions in place? And maybe that's probably, by recording that data, we might see a pattern that it might be something that others want too.
Thank you. So that's action research, learning by doing. Who's one? Thank you.
So we've had some similar points to the other tables, but I think our key thing here was that the technology, whilst it helped her, was very disempowering. She had very little choice. She could express no preferences, and actually the technology was isolating and preventing social interaction and also, any physiological interaction that she might have with other people. So we think that's really important.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
A couple of quick ones. The first one struck us the interface there was very disembodied, and being chased around the house by a voice is like to send her mad rather than get her healthier. The second one was the point made up earlier about it's about isolation and talking to people, and thinking about virtual communities, but particularly think about how the generation that's being raised on Minecraft and massively multiple games, how they will have a different sense of the use of technology to defeat the isolation problem.
Excellent, thank you. Who is your spokesperson, please? Would you mind?
Yeah. We had a couple of ideas, one of which was, a kind of procured list of activities that people could attend to, but with the premise that actually the person running those activities for any non-attenders would record why there was a non-attender. So actually the onus is on these community activities, the leaders of those, giving reasons and justification to kind of build the data set to then further inform things in future.
Brilliant. Enriching the data, yeah? And I'll give
I think we're similar to everyone that one of the big things that was missing was a human intervention, and what if the technology fails? But there were so many gadgets in the house. We thought maybe if there was just one thing she wore all the time and that had some human interaction, that might sort of solve a lot of problems.
Thank you very much. I started with you, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much indeed. One thing that I didn't say earlier, and Heather's been referred to a number of times, and she is one of our human navigators. And one of the questions we've been asking ourselves, and Heather and I have talked about this, so she knows what I'm going to say, is it feasible for us not to have a human navigator? Is it feasible for us to have an ambiently intelligent system that actually does all the things that Heather does at the moment, or at least releases Heather to do the things which she's qualified to do? So it's not getting rid of Heather, it's making sure Heather is doing the things that she's qualified to do, and the other things are being done differently. So thank you very much for your feedback. We're going to move on with the programme. Hamid, is it you now? Thank you. There'll be more opportunities for feedback later.
So we've done that already. So I just want to quickly tell you how you can submit your ideas after this event around any of the challenges that I'll be presenting to you in a minute. So what we've done is I'll be sending a link to all the attendees. There is a page on the Birmingham Community website where you can basically submit any ideas that you might have around those challenges. The reason we've gone about doing it this way is that we want to keep it tidy and keep it to a certain template, and there's word limits on the definition of the idea, and once you basically put in your details and select the relevant challenge from a list of 16, then you can tell us what the title of your idea is and what it actually is, and then you can attach some documents to support your idea and then submit it, and I'll be receiving that in a certain format, and then we will have sessions amongst us where we will review all the ideas that are submitted to us. So telling you about all the challenges that we've identified, it was really good to hear the feedback from around the tables about these challenges that I'm going to present to you. These challenges, we've extracted them from that particular scenario that you, but then again, I'd like to re-emphasize that we're in no way saying this is definitive, and I'm very certain that this list of challenges will be basically restructured and reframed as we start our collaborations with you. So yes, so Christine and Clive are going to quickly distribute these list of challenges to you. The reason I didn't give them to you earlier is that I didn't want to distract you. I wanted you to be able to listen to what the other speakers had to say. So this is the actual list of 16 challenges with some explanation as to what we mean by them. Once you've all got a copy, then I'm going to start going through them on the screen here and tell you what they actually are. And in your delegate packs, there's also a document called the mobile apps. So what you see on the walls here is the background research that we've done around these challenges, and some of them were presented as posters on the walls. Some of them, which are the mobile apps, we printed them and put them in your delegate packs. So we just wanted to show you that we've done our homework. We have a rough idea as to what's already out there, what solutions are available, and now we want to start working with you to develop the tools and solutions that are more tailored to the specific needs that we are going to present to you here. So the first challenge is an e-community. So the idea of an e-community is something like a Facebook. But it's for the elderly. It's something that they can use and they will use. And this is a big challenge because we want them to be encouraged to use it on a regular basis, and we wanted to increase Mary's interactions with like-minded people. there is a neighborly neighbor infrastructure. So the idea of neighborly neighbor is to encourage all the people who live near Mary to get involved in her well-being. And so we want them to voluntarily sign up to Mary's care and well-being. And in cases where there is a minor alarm event triggered against Mary because she's in distress, we want the neighborly neighbor to be the first person to respond to that. And how is it digital? Digital enablement is part of the neighborly neighbor infrastructure, because we want to use digital technology to basically find out about the neighborly neighbor's interest in Mary's well-being and then sign them up, and also be able to inform them when Mary does need their care and attention. Psychosocial, cultural and behavior change. This one, we're completely relying on you, because a lot of you have the expertise to tell us what sort of digital tools might be available to enable behavior change. There's lots of factors that will the dynamics of culture and behavior in various geolocations. There is ethnicity, age groups, the local economy. All these things will determine a variation in the type of basically culture and behavior you see in various locations. So you tell us, we want you to tell us what you're aware of that can help us achieve that. SSCP, that's the name we've given it. This is a platform that all the nodes on the Ring of Confidence, the Ring of Confidence that Sam German referred to, all those entities can communicate safely with each other regarding Mary. So, as an example, when the butcher does not see Mary on a Tuesday morning, then he's going to be using SSCP to parse Mary's visibility from the other nodes on the Ring of Confidence. And if Mary's has been seen by the bus beacon, by the supermarket beacon, or by the GP, he'll get a response, yes, Mary's been visible, and don't worry about her. Point solutions. So the point solutions are particular solutions that may not necessarily fall directly under the remit of what we're trying to do here, but they're solutions that can basically resolve certain problems, very specific problems. I'll give you an example to clarify myself. If you know the district nurses who go around the community and visit Mary and Mary's peers, at the moment the way that they have to record their mileage is very cumbersome, and they spend a lot of time filling out travel expense forms. If there was an app that could record all of the district nurses traveling to various locations, and that could automatically update the data to the traveling expense system, then a lot of district nurses' time would be to be spent where it's most needed for Mary's care. So that's just an example. So we've left this particular one quite open, because it could be any particular solution, specific solution for a particular problem that will ultimately contribute to improving of Mary's well-being. The Flexible Workforce Platform, it's a smart platform to manage the workload of all the people who are involved in Mary's well-being. There are examples of this out there. You would see some of the examples on the posters, smart workforce management tools that are already out there. But none of those do exactly what we want them to do. So I'll give you another example. When Mary, in the scenario you watch, when Mary is in distress in the afternoon and she's got high temperature because she's taking antibiotics, if the neighborly neighbor or none of the other people who received the alarm event respond to it, then we want the alarm event to be relayed to the district nurse who's closest to Mary. So the closest one in Mary's vicinity will receive a prompt on their digital device saying that Mary needs to be seen. And you get an idea of what I mean by smart workforce management. The digital care assistant is a tool that's going to have a lot of applications. It's going to be used to collect information from Mary. So we're thinking of utilizing that in various ways to collect information around Mary. We want to use cognitive games on this digital care assistant to get an idea of Mary's state of mind. We want to be able to present data to Mary. The example you saw about Mary's nephew's birthday, or basically any GP appointments that she might have, all of that will take place through the digital care assistant. This is the brain of the whole operation. We call it Knowledge Management and Early Warning System, CAMUS. This system, I'll just read it out from the slide. It's a multi-layered system to monitor the parameters associated with Mary's well-being and use it intelligently with the smart platform DCA or all aspects of the urgent response. So this will bring in all the various bits of information from all the sensors in the smart home that Mary is living in, from the smart fabric that she's wearing, from her interactions using the digital care assistant, all the data that comes from district nurse or the supermarket or the butcher. It will pull all that data together, and it will have an artificial intelligence engine that will learn in the course of a few months about Mary's habits, and it has the capability to adapt itself to new habits that Mary picks up. We want you to tell us how we can engage Mary in the use of the DCA. We all know that it's not easy to get 85-year-old to use an iPad. So we want you to tell us what mechanisms are in place to make that a reality. Are there any reward mechanisms that we can utilize? How can we incentivize Mary to use this? Are there any novel learning environments or learning solutions that could be utilized in encouraging Mary to use digital technology? It's interesting because this, I think something similar to this came up from the feedback. So this is an inventory of the community assets. Now, we've had talks with Birmingham Settlement Services, and in the past there has been attempts at doing this, basically enlisting all the services that are available to Mary in the community. There are a few challenges with that. The main challenge is, how do you keep that up to date? A lot of voluntary services are provided by people, 1 or 2 volunteers, who may stop doing that tomorrow. And if so, who is going to take that off of the inventory? How do you make sure the services on the inventory are actually up to date and they're not redundant? And the other challenge with this ICA is that we don't just want a list of hundreds, if not thousands, of community assets, including not only the voluntary services, but also Mary's hairdresser, Mary's butcher. But we also want to be able to smartly navigate through this. There's no point sending the district nurse or the navigator to visit Mary with a list of assets and then to start going through the list to find the appropriate asset for Mary based on her conditions. We want that to be smart. So that navigation needs to be based on Mary's needs. It needs to be designed somehow to take that into account. The GP dashboard is basically a display dashboard that collects information from all the other systems that I mentioned previously and displays them to the GP. So the GP is the person in charge of the whole operation. He or she can see what's going on around Mary's life, any new interventions that have been basically utilized around Mary, and even introduce new interventions through the system. We want to be able to measure Mary's interactions. When we had our brainstorming sessions, we came up with a concept of Mary's different villages. So we know that Mary has a geographical village, so Mary might be living in Chardin, but then there is a personal village that might be larger or smaller than this geographical village. What does the proportion of the 2 villages tell you about Mary's state of mind and her well-being? And then there is larger village. We call it the extended village. It's nodes that Mary doesn't access regularly, but she might have to visit them once in her lifetime. It might be a specialist hospital in London that Mary needs to visit at some point, and that brings that hospital into Mary's extended village. And then there is virtual village. There is other services that are perhaps the telecare services that Mary doesn't care whether they're provided from UK or from Australia, as long as they're provided to her. So it's on a different dimension. But all of these interactions, as well as the interactions that Mary has with her peers, with her relatives, family, and all the other care providers, we want to be able to measure them. And by measuring, we're referring to the number of contacts she has, the diversity of these contacts, and the contents of them. In the scenario that you watched, you saw Mary getting on the bus and seeing John on the bus, and the two smart devices registered this proximity and the length of time. So using that technology, we will know who Mary has seen on the bus for how long. So that way, we can register the number of contacts and its length, and we know it's with John, someone that Mary likes to spend time with. So it is a preferred interaction, if you see what I mean. So most of the stuff that I've been talking about so far is tools that are used to monitor Mary. Now, how do we actually improve Mary's well-being? So it's all good to be able to monitor every move that Mary makes, but then how do you actually encourage her to be more sociable, more active, independent, healthy, self-confident, and mindful? I'm sure in your portfolio of solutions, there are already products that will help us do that and bring Mary out of the home and make her more sociable. This is self-explanatory, I suppose. It's smart home technology. It can be used for various purposes, for Mary's safety, for monitoring Mary, Mary's moving around the house easier, and control of appliances. And we'll be collecting a lot of data about Mary's well-being and health using that technology. There's a lot of smart fabrics out there that monitor various vital signs. You've seen lots of examples of them. And they use various sensor technology and the body area networks to relay all this vital information around Mary to the CAMUS, which is the Knowledge Management and Early Warning System. And the last one is gamified well-being assessments. One of the lessons we learned during the pilot phase of Healthy Villages was that when we use this well-established, well-researched method of well-being assessment called WEMWEBs, we were getting irreproducible and unreliable results from same individuals based on the conditions that they presented to them, the time of the day, the person who was presenting the statements to them. So we thought, okay, hang on a minute, how can we rectify this? Why is this reliable? We know it's a reliable technique. So we thought, okay, the methodology that's being used to present these statements to Mary is not uniform. How can we change that? So we thought if we can somehow connect these particular statements from WEMWEBs to particular actions in a game and turn that into a cognitive game, if Mary plays that, theoretically we should get the results of the WEMWEBs at the end of the game. So thank you. I'd like to repeat myself in saying they just represent a starting point, these challenges, and we're not at all claiming it to be a comprehensive list. Thank you very much. Of course.
Yeah. I'd just like to follow up on that, because while Hamid was talking, it struck me that a small anecdote might be in order. My main career before I was research director was as a clinician in rehabilitation, and I used to be the head of a department that was often described as the assistive technology department. And I used to balk at that, because actually, in my view, I was the head of a clinical department that used assistive technology. And I think that that's important today, because we are necessarily focusing a lot on technology and digitization. But the question that I'd like to pose for myself is, what did we want out of today? What we want out of today is we wanted today to have presented to you enough of a picture that we can continue in a dialogue. And I want to emphasize what Hamid's just said, is that you may think that the digital approach that we've taken here with the CAMUS and the personal thing, you might think that's completely bonkers. And that's fine, because we are very happy for it to be complete bonkers if it leads us to a place where we can really begin to understand how technology will be useful to Mary. The question I have in my mind, and an open question for us, is that in the future, do we think that technology and digital technology will play a significant role in this overall scenario? I can't help but feel that the answer to that has got to be yes. The question is, how does that happen? And that's really the open question that we have today. So what I'd like to say is, don't particularly take too much notice of what we're talking about. Use it as a framework to frame your own thoughts. There are a lot of comments we had in the first round were about, well, you know, where's the person in all this? There's not enough interactions. Fantastic feedback, and we're very happy that that's come. Let's take that now and let's move it forwards to a place that either takes some of these ideas or doesn't take some of these ideas, but takes us to the place where we start answering the question. And when Hamid showed you the feedback form that we've got, what we're saying there is we want to work in partnership with you in moving forwards to move this agenda forward, to understand what it is that we all need to be doing, working together. So when Hamid said, give us your ideas, what we mean is give us permission to begin to discuss the future with you. So.
Thank you, Clive. So at this point, we want to have a slightly longer brainstorming session because we have more on that list. There's 16 challenges there, and if you would like to add to that anything else that you think we've missed, by all means do that. What I want you to do in the next 20 minutes is to do a quick brainstorming at each table and think of two things. What do you want us to tell you? What do you need to know from us to be able to perhaps come up with solutions or tailor your already existing solutions to resolve any of these challenges that we presented to you? And second question is, please tell us any comments that you may have around these particular challenges that we presented. So you must all have a list of 16 in front of you now, and you're being provided with more paper as we speak. So please spend the next 20 minutes doing that, and then what we'll do is that in the next half, we're just going to go from table to table and ask you to basically mention the top 3 comments or the questions that you have for us, and hopefully between us we'll be able to answer those questions, and if not, we promise you that we'll go back, find the answers and get back to you. And that's why it's so important to put the names of the people next to the ideas or the comments that you come up with so that we can chase it up. Thank you.
Yeah. So I started all my conversations. I asked people what they do, and then you can find
developing and building, learning,
that's a pretty good stuff.
I don't know. We'll have to ask the question now. Because there was 2 baskets, wasn't there? I don't know what happened to the other one. They've probably taken it away already.
It means taking them upstairs and putting them in the Healthy Village toilet. I'm just saying, if we paid for those...
I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's in
Yeah, because I don't know what that is.
Okay, I'm going to address this point first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's get some, yeah.
Let me still find it. It's which one will mine be? Open Windows Explorer. Do you know which one it is? Is it E or F? That's not it. Okay. That's it. What you want is overview.
How it works.
You sort by type.
By type? Yeah, you do that then. Yeah.
And are these all the ones that are similar? Oh, is it PowerPoint?
Yeah, or it's a video.
Which one? Well, you come and choose it because I don't know which one it is. Does it play then?
Yeah, if you work
I have no idea.
Healthy 1, 2, 3.
Lowercase all.
H and then healthy 1, 2, 3.
That's the one, yeah?
Yeah. Right, you're ready.
Okay. Right, if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to show you another short video. We're trying to be dynamic and adaptive to what we're hearing, and a lot of people have said to us, we're sort of surprised about the sort of digital side taking away from the human interaction. In a sense, we are unashamedly today are here to talk about what is the potential for digital technology within this context, and so understandably there's going to be a focus on that. But what we've got here now is a video which explains Healthy Villages in a slightly different way. I find that interesting.
Over the next 20 years, the number of people in Birmingham aged 75 and above will more than double, leaving more of us living with long-term, complex health needs. This is Mary. She's 78 and lives in Shard End. Mary suffers from emphysema, a disease that makes it breathe. She also has chronic kidney disease. Mary was coping very well with her long-term health conditions until her husband George passed away last year. She is now lonely, depressed, and increasingly socially isolated. Mary sees regularly, but multiple complex needs make it impossible to discuss each of her issues in a 10-minute appointment. When she can't get an appointment with a GP and doesn't know how to cope with her problems, she calls for an ambulance. She becomes so distraught on admission that it makes it challenging for unfamiliar nurses and doctors to truly understand her needs. Mary gets frustrated. 2 hours she's moved from A&E to a clinical decision. She often ends up on a ward where she complains of having to explain her problems over again to each new doctor or nurse who sees her. Episodes of acute hospital admission, Mary and her family think that it may be best for her to move into a care home. But imagine if it didn't need to. Healthy Villages is launching a new way of providing complete care which aims to address all aspects of Mary's health and well-being, centred around providing her with a ring of confidence that takes into account her circumstances. Patients who may be able to benefit from the complete care approach will be identified by a range of professionals, including GPs, social workers, district nurses, mental health teams, and other services based in the local community. One of our community support workers will ensure that Mary can access appropriate services locally. Agencies involved in Mary's care and well-being, along with her accountable lead clinician, will together design a care and well-being plan which is jointly produced and agreed with Mary's input and consent. Mary will be supported by her primary and community team who will help to ensure that together they manage her health and well-being effectively. If Mary needs help, she has a key contact who she can call, reducing the need for her to go into hospital. So, what wider wellbeing services did we link Mary into? Well, she starts to attend a lunch club once a week, along with a befriending volunteer from a local partner community group, and in the summer will be starting a weekly walking class through the active. Mary now feels that she is part of a connected neighbourhood, and that she no longer needs to move into a care home. Care and support is being delivered as close to her home as possible, with additional help when it is needed from SPA Plus. SPA Plus is Birmingham Community Healthcare's single point of access, a care and well-being coordination centre, which along with access to a range of village activities, also coordinates access to community-based care and crisis services such as the Rapid Response Team, and in the near future, access to short-stay community medical assessment units. Healthy Villages brings together health, local authority and community-based partners with the aim of enhancing the overall well-being of people in our communities and provides alternative support aimed at preventing avoidable hospital admissions and long-term residential care. If you're interested in finding out more about joined-up care or Healthy Villages, please visit healthyvillages.org.uk.
Okay, so I hope you found that added to the whole picture. So now we're going to take our feedback from your discussions. So to just to continue to reframe the whole thing, what we're looking for is to find out how we might work with you to move from what you've just seen towards some version of what you saw in the earlier video, even if it's a completely different version and nothing like the one that you saw. So if I may start with this table, what are we doing? Top 2 points, did you say? 2 or 3?
Yeah, tops.
On your doorstep, but it's about that confidence of having somebody go with you for the first time or two to actually settle you in.
Thank you very much.
Was there another comment?
Can I just ask, Clive, you know, on the evaluation, did we actually ask the clients what digital enhancement for them? How did they feel about? I just wondered whether
it was a step too far at that stage.
I just wondered actually.
Right, moving on. Who's going to talk?
You again, sir? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hi, I covered some of the things already, but the key points I think was about developing partnerships with organisations out there and working with the elderly and such as schools, housing associations, so where there is a shared outcome in looking after the people. The other thoughts we had was using gaming for engagement and interaction, and that linked with using intergeneration skills exchange, where young people are using technology more, and older people may have skills like gardening or whatever that they can be exchanged with young people. So, you know, technology can be a way for a medium for communication and learning with each other.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who'd like to talk on this table? Anybody? Go on, sir.
No further comment.
Oh, thank you very much. Excellent. Who's going to be your spokesperson? They're looking at you.
Nothing more to say? Well, yes, please.
Sorry, I misled.
I'm sorry. I'll be back for you. Who's there? You, sir? Yes, there you go.
No, it's just because I'm finding this fascinating. It's just starting to get lively now, actually, to be honest. I think you could go on for the whole week talking about this topic. And you've got to keep it going. I mean, yes, the vision is fantastic, and it's going to happen. How many years it's going to take? The human element, we've discussed that. That's vitally important. But I think what you've got in this room is a small proportion of the talent that could make this happen. And I want to just see it all carry on. How are we going to keep talking? How are we going to... an SME over there talking to an SME over here, that actually that combined service could be brilliant. And I'd just like you guys to think on the role you could play at Healthy Villages to get us connected and help you move this forward.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you very much for that. Right, I'm coming. He wanted to... You can fight amongst yourselves.
Yes. Oh, the thing here is that I've been working in these kind of projects for maybe 6-8 years, and there is a very difficult thing to create a project and then evaluate it with NHS. So the steps to do all that should be simplified. I spent like 2 years in evaluate a pilot prototype with clinicians. So just to survive that software called IRAS, where people put the idea and create a collaboration with the NHS, is very, very bureaucratic. So those things are should be also improved.
Yes, go. Into the microphone, please.
As the research manager for Birmingham Community Healthcare, IRAS is the area that I'm familiar with now. And I can tell you, yes, it is bureaucratic, yes, it does take a while, but it's got a lot better. And I think part of the challenge is being the right people who can help you with your IRAS form, who can sort of take you through that process, and you know the person now, so it will make it a lot easier.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask for a little bit of clarity on next stages in the process, really, and maybe I'm hijacking the agenda here, and maybe going to come on to this, but, you know, I applaud you for the concept and the way that you've presented the challenges today, but you talked at the outset about wanting to forge a partnership. I represent an SME, we're in the mobile technology space, you know, these ideas, these thoughts are very interesting to us, but I'm thinking about it from a commercial head, and how could we engage in a safe environment that protects our intellectual property, but that brings value to all parties concerned. And I'd just be interested to hear, you've talked about partnership, do you have preset thoughts and ideas as to how that partnership would actually unfold from today?
Okay, I can give you one level of response to that, and that is that going from today, we would like to establish one-to-one discussions with SMEs. Then, or not, that can be expanded to 2-to-1 and 3-to-1, and talk about how we manage that, you know, the intellectual property aspect of it. But most certainly, when Hamid referred to the thing, your aunts did on the website, if all we can do at this stage is fill in that form and say, I'd like to discuss more, then let's do that, and then we'll pick that up and we'll develop it and broaden it out. Is that okay? Yeah, I'm sorry, one thing, we've just realised that the thing that we haven't done is a delegate list. We will send it around to, I take it everybody's happy with sending a delegate list. We will send everybody's email address to you by email. Anything on this table? No? Good, thank you. Right, this table, please. Any more? Okay.
I think in a way we are building bridges, but we're also breaking bridges. And some of these healthy villages that we're talking about exist and do exist within the community. And I think what we should have done is basically gone to them and said, well, for many, many years, without that investment, how have you sustained your services? And we've kind of missed them, and we've got an example on our table today as well. So I think really we've still got a gap that needs to be addressed, and that is those existing services, which was the picture that he showed originally, and how we can get that back, rather than building more digital systems, which has destroyed that kind of image.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, please.
Can I just say that if this is all really exciting and innovative, and that's great, but how are you going to take the other people with you? At the moment, GP surgeries don't even, a lot of GP surgeries don't even allow you to book an online appointment. So if you've got all these wonderful digital platforms that people are accessing as a sort of an aim, how are you going to take CCGs and GPs along with you on that journey to ensure that they've got compatible software and hardware? Because at the moment, you know, it's a phone call at 8:30 or standing outside picking up a ticket. So there's not going to be compatibility between the two different accesses to the different services.
I'm not going to by pretending that's easy. We know it's not easy. What I would say, though, is that you had standing in front of you the chair of the CCG in Andrew. One CCG, the big, they're all on board. Yeah, all the CCGs are on board, and you know we are continuing to have dialogue with them about how we do exactly what you say.
But that we've got two GP practices outside of where I work, and they're both in two different clinical commissioning groups within the same CCG.
Yeah.
And they don't talk to each other. They don't have the same systems in place. They serve the same community. So there are lots of things that need to be done potentially to address some of those issues.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think that the lunch is served now, is it? I think they're in the process of preparing the table.
So we need to just wrap up.
So yes, I would like to thank you all again for attending today. I found it very useful, very exciting. I hope you feel the same way. Just a few reminders. I will be sending out just a very short survey, just for what you thought of the event and individual presentation, brainstorming sessions. I will also send out the link for submitting any ideas. But as Clive said, even if it's just an expression of interest, that will do. We just want to know that you want to work with us. There is another event, as we mentioned, on 27th of April. Some of you have already registered for that. The link is available on the invite on Eventbrite for today's event. But again, I will be sharing that with you. And if any of you are leaving earlier, can I just ask you to make sure you return your badges at the reception desk? And also, if you haven't signed the registration, please do that, so exactly how many people attended. Thank you very much, and enjoy your lunch.